Hello guys, welcome today also to my YouTube channel. Today, like I mentioned in the first video, what we are going to do is to take you through Powerprep software. This is a software that carries the same interface as what you are going to see on the D-Day of the GRE when you are writing. So I'm going to give you a hands-on experience to make you understand it, and I'll recommend that afterwards you go through yourself, because I'll be leaving the link to the software in the description so you can download it from there and also have practical experience on that. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like, and also hit on the notification bell so that when more videos are uploaded you can see that. So let's go through the software. Upon opening the link, this is what you are going to see. So after clicking the link in the description, this is what you are going to see. So it will take you to this interface where you are going to see the Powerprep software. So you just have to double click on it, or just right click on it and click on the download. So I'm double clicking, it comes with this preview, then I click on the download. So they are scanning for viruses. They'll tell you that maybe they are, if you don't trust the source or something, they'll be giving you some options, but just go to download anyway. You just download it anyway. So I'm taking you through so that when you see these challenges, you would be able to know how to forgo it or climb this hurdle. So download anyway, like I mentioned. So the file type might be dangerous. Powerprep file is a type that might harm your computer. Only download this file if you understand the risk. Download anyway. So after downloading, like any other software, like the way it is, so you just have to go through the installation as such. So you just double click, go to yes, those things. You know how to install software already, so there's not the time for me to take you through software installation. So after installing, you can just search for it. It will come as launch Powerprep. So launch Powerprep, just like this. You open it and you open this interface. So it uses Internet Explorer. It doesn't use internet, so it uses Internet Explorer. So just make sure that you have the Internet Explorer browser. So if you have that, it will help you to go through the software. So after opening, this is the interface that comes. So they are saying that Internet Explorer 11 is now out of support. Switch to Microsoft recommendation browser. The faster, the more. Microsoft Edge, but Microsoft Edge cannot do it. It's Explorer, so I'm still going. Start practicing. Then they are saying that Internet Explorer restricted this web page from running scripts on ActiveX controls. Allow blocked content. Then I go to yes from this option. Then continue. So upon clicking the continue, it opens this interface. So because it's a preview, I'm taking it to a preview. I'm supposed to go through this test preview too, but I won't do that. I'm just, because I wanted to see the actual thing, so I'm going through the time practice. So it just comes to this drop down. You see test preview 2, time practice test, and on time practice test. So I'll choose the timed practice test because that is how the D-Day will be like. So time practice test. So if you were doing a test already, then maybe because of something, your laptop went off, your PC went off, or you closed unexpectedly. When you come here, because you are seeing start test, resume test, so the resume test will take you to where you were before it went off. Then review answers. If you are done with the test and you come here, review answers will send you to your answers, where you can see the answer you choose and the correct answer, so that I can do the comparison and know maybe what you did wrong. So because we are now starting, for us we are going for start test. So upon clicking on start test, it opens this page for us. Graduate record examination. Click continue to proceed. So we move on, continue. These things you can read them, the regulations and all, if you are starting, but because that's not the focus for today, just continue. Confidentiality agreement, general test information. So they are giving you information about the test itself. Continue. Analytical writing. So like I mentioned in the first video, you have analytical writing where you write 2 essays. So starting, you are going to write the issue essay. So analytical writing 1, analyze an issue. So they are giving you some instructions from here. Continue. So like we mentioned and we saw there, the time is 30 minutes. So once we opened it, it has started counting down from here. It has started counting down. So it's counting down. And there's the prompt that you are supposed to attend to. So like I mentioned in the first video, this is where you choose a stand. Either you are going, let's say, for or against. So it looks like a normal debate. So a nation should require all of its students to study the same national curriculum until they enter college. So from, let's say, primary school up to your high school, you are studying the same thing. So if it's history, geography, you are all studying history, geography. Then when you get to college or the university, then that's where you branch into. Maybe you want to study medicine, you want to study any engineering program or something. So from here, then we taught them to discuss the extent to which you agree or disagree with the recommendation above, explaining your reasoning. So if we think that, it's a good thing, we should learn the same thing, because the nation, one way or the other, will be working in the nation. So if the nation is teaching us what we are supposed to learn, then why not? But if you're also thinking that, no, if you are studying the same thing, of course, a doctor and an engineer will not be doing the same thing. So if you are studying the same thing, maybe the passion will not be there. You'll be used to what they will teach you. So it's up to you. So you choose your stand. This is how it is. So like I said, it's for you to see how it is. So with this interface from here, then you just type. So maybe a nation should not require all of its students to study the same national curriculum. So per your prompts, per the study you want to take, so that you just type as such. So like you're saying, okay, let me intentionally make a mistake. Study the same national curriculum, but, so the should, I'm making a mistake, SHUOLD. So you see, this was not highlighted, the should was not highlighted like normal MS Word. MS Word would have highlighted the should, that is spelling and grammar check, but this didn't do that, because it's not like they want you to make a mistake, they want you to write from your own. If it has highlighted it for you, you would have changed it, meaning that it's not from yourself. So they are not in a way encouraging mistakes per se, but they are encouraging us to write from our own. And some they ignore some mistakes, because they know that mistakes, because you are typing under pressure or you are bound to make mistakes. But if it's consistent, that's where you'll be penalized. So I guess mention that. So after you are done, then you go to next. But maybe you will not be done before time, but because I'm showing you, that's why I'm going to next. So next, and they will warn you from this page that you can return because you have time and still write. If you go to continue, what you have written, just that first line that I wrote has been saved, and that is the response to that question. So they are warning you from here. So if you go to continue, you cannot come and blame them that, you didn't finish whatsoever. So because we are just showing this thing, so return comes back next. So because we are just showing, I'm going to continue, because this one I have nothing to lose here, because it's just a software, it's not the D-Day, I will not do this. So continue. So we are moving on to the second one, analyze an argument. This also, they are giving us instruction about what analyzing an argument is about, so we can read through and get familiar with it. Continue. This also, they are making a claim. So they are saying that the following is a memorandum from the business manager of a television station. Over the past year, our late night news program have devoted increased time to national news and less time to weather and local news. During this time period, most of the complaints received from viewers were concerned with our station's coverage of weather and local news. In addition, local businesses that used to advertise during our late night news programs have just cancelled the advertising contract with us. Therefore, in order to attract more viewers to the program and to avoid losing any further advertising revenues, we should restore the time devoted to weather and local news to its former level. Write a response in which you discuss which specific evidence is needed to evaluate the argument and explain how the evidence would weaken or strengthen the argument. So with argument is you are mostly, or you are required to critique, that is to weaken the argument. So they are saying that because of this, they want to do this. They are making a conclusion that they want to, therefore, they are making a conclusion that therefore, in order to attract more viewers, we are bringing it back to the time it's supposed to be. So you looking at this and seeing what they are saying, you can tell them that we cannot make this conclusion because the people and those advertising maybe are not advertising again because the people are not watching. So if you send it to a different time for the people and the people will watch, those people will still come. What the people want is the show, not necessarily the time. They want the show, they want the program. So like for Ghanaians, let's see the times that they were showing Kunkum Baja. So for that, the people want the Kunkum Baja. So whenever you're going to show it for them, once they will get time to watch it, they are cool to go. So you cannot say that you restoring it will bring the people back. You can send it a different time for them, and once it is there and people are watching, people are interested in it, still those investors will come, those advertising companies will come and advertise for you to get your money. So it's not necessarily for you to go and restore it and that will bring you the money. So we cannot make this conclusion. So yours is just to critique. So this is basically how you are supposed to go about the argumentative. So like the issue was, if you think you are done, you go to next. Then they are warning you from this page also, so that when per every decision that you make, you are liable yourself and it cannot be an ETS no longer. So I'm going for continue because like I said, I have nothing to lose. Continue. Then here to continue, there is a 60 seconds for us. Then we move to verbal reasoning. 30 minutes for 20 questions. So today is giving us hands-on. So everything I mentioned in the first video, that was me being like, hey, what is this saying? Because you're not seeing today, you're seeing them. So 20 questions, 30 minutes to answer them. So we have test completion. So there's test completion question, one blank. So select one entry for the blank. Fill the blank in the way that best completes the test. After reading this, you think that it is this word. So it's just one word that is needed. So you can, when you select it, it will highlight it for you. So you think it is this one. Then you can move on to next. This one, after reading, you think it is this. Move on to next. So we see two blanks here. Two blanks. So this. So let's say for the first one, this is correct. But the second one, let's see pervasive. But pervasive is wrong. Question 3 is wrong because you got one correct, one wrong. So the whole thing is wrong. So yours is supposed to get all of them correct. Fill all the blanks, the two blank correctly. So next, this one too. So credit is given when all the blanks are filled correctly. One correct, one wrong. You are still wrong. Then this one, you are seeing 3 of the 2 blanks. So it means you're going to just see one of the 3 blanks. Construe, collude in. Next, the next 3 blanks. So this one too, like the 2 blanks. If you get 2 correct, 1 wrong, the whole thing is wrong. So you're supposed to get all of them correct. But don't be scared. You're not going to see many of these questions. So you're going to see six of them. So don't be scared. You're not going to see many of these questions. You're going to see only 6 questions on the test completion. 2 for 1 blank, 2 for 2 blanks, and 2 for 3 blanks. But like this, you saw 3 for 2 blanks. So you are just seeing 1 for 3 blanks. So it's not that much. But you still can get all of them. Don't worry, everything will be fine. So for the first one, let's say influence varied. I'm just choosing answers. These are not the answers. So when you're doing it on your own, don't follow me, please. I beg. Discrepancy. But for this, maybe you are not sure. You are not sure of your answers. You think that you are just choosing some. So there's this option here, mark. So what mark does is it's helping you to know questions that maybe you are not sure. Questions that you want a second chance to look at. It's not like the previous ones, you don't have a second chance to look at them. But this one will make it specific for you to know that question 5, I want to come back to question 5 if I get a chance to come and look at it. But before you use the mark, make sure you choose answers. So don't say that because this ones I don't know, I will not choose an answer and then I'll come back later. No, choose an answer and move on. If you choose an answer and the answer is correct, you are correct. But if you don't choose an answer, automatically you are wrong if your time elapses. So I've marked this. So like I said, we can go back. You can go back to question 5 and change your answers. But this is to help you. The mark is to help you know specific one so that later when you are reviewing, you can see which one is easier to come back to. So next. So this is a passage. After reading it for question 7, after reading it, you think it is this answer. You select that one. We move on. Then recent study. So this one is helping you to solve answer 4 questions, question 8 to 11, question 8, question 9, question 10, question 11 per this passage. So this is about, I think it will be about 25 sentences. So you read the whole of this, then you use it to answer these 4 questions. So according to the passage, which of the following is true of the rock fragments contained in the sediment studied by Bond? So Bond studied rock fragments, he says something. So which one is true? You think is this? You choose the answer. Next. Here, so in the final paragraph of the passage, the author is concerned primarily with answering a question about Earth's climate history, pointing out a potential flaw in Bond's hypothesis, suggesting a new focus for the study of ocean sediment. So per the final paragraph, the last paragraph, which one you think Bond was talking about, you choose that answer. Then you move on with your next. Then question 10. That one too is asking us something about the passage. This one, 11, the last question for this. In the first video, I mentioned that verbal completion has 4 parts. That is text completion, sentence equivalence, reading comprehension, and critical reasoning. So this is sentence equivalence. We've seen comprehension, we've seen text completion. So if we've seen critical reasoning to the question 7 or so, that passage that came first, we were either critiquing or something. I think we see another one. So 2 answer choices, that's when used to complete the sentence, fit the meaning of the sentence. So early critics of Emily Dixon's poetry, innocence, naivety, they said 2. So if you choose one, so I'll choose, in a place I'll choose one, another one I'll choose 3 answers. Next. So this one to you, maybe you think it is fundamental and universal. You are not sure, so you mark it. Then you move on. Here, 2 answers, but I'm just choosing 1. Solicitous. Next. This one too, I'm choosing 3. They want 2 answers, but I'm choosing 3 answers. Then next. So here is another passage. So here they are saying that there is a sentence in the passage that is an answer to a question in the passage. So maybe you think it's this sentence that is an answer to a question in the passage, or maybe this or that. So when you click on that sentence, they highlight it automatically for you. So whichever one that you think is that, you just select that one, they will highlight that one for you. Then next, then this one too, you choose your answer as such. Mundane. 17 to 19 is dependent on this passage. Yeah, I'm done. And so this is the last one. Next. So this one too, like they warned you in the analytical writing, you can return to it, you can review and continue. Review didn't come in the writing because it's just 1 question, but this one has like more than 1, about 20 questions. So when you go to return, it sends you to the last question, that's question 20. Next, review sends us to a review screen. Continue means you think you are done. So when you go to continue, you cannot do anything. But review, so review screen, we are seeing here the questions that I marked. So if I was supposed to ask you which questions I marked, maybe you have forgotten. But because of the mark, I know that, okay, question 6, I wanted to look at it a second time. Question 13, I wanted to look at it a second time. Then these incomplete ones, they are incomplete here. They are incomplete because I think you are getting an idea from what I did. I intentionally did some things. So if you are following, you will see why it is incomplete. They wanted 2 answers, but I chose 1 answer. Another one, so I chose 3 answers. So that's why we have been incomplete here. So I can go back to that question 14, incomplete. Then I go to question option here, go to question. It opens that. So solicitous, then maybe I'll add laconic to it. So right now when I come back to the review, you can see review up here. Review, I can see that right now 14 is answered because I've done the correct thing. 15 also, go to question. I chose 3 answers. So let me take prevarication from it. Then go back to review. I can see that this one is now answered. Then 13 and question 6. It is helping me to go and look at it the second time. Question 13, fundamental and universal as the answers. I think that is the right thing. So you can right now take the mark off on market. Then when you come back to the review, you can see that the mark is gone. So you have gotten the chance to look at it the second time to know which one is correct, to be sure of your answers. Then question 6, to go to question, maybe looking at it for the second time, you think it should be the last one is supposed to be duplicity rather. Then you can unmark and go to review. So in this section you can see all the questions are answered, the status are answered. So if they are the right answers, they will mark you. But previously, because of the incomplete means you are wrong already for those 2 questions. So if there is a mark and it's answered, they will still mark for you if the answer is correct. So if you don't know the answer, still choose an answer and go. So make an educative guess. That's what they tell you, an educative guess. As you are led, you get it. So as you are led, choose an answer from there, and God will help us all. So let me go to the last question so that we can leave this place. Go to question next. So I have this screen. When I click on continue, it takes me off. So right now we are coming to do quantitative reasoning. That is the math aspect. When I said that it's the normal math, not the hard math, the calculus, the trigonometry, you know those ones. It is the math that we can do, but maybe put in a more difficult way. Let me spice it up like that for us. So but there's 20 questions for 35 minutes. Because it's math, they are giving us 5 minutes excess, but 5 minutes is not enough for math. So these people, they should have made it like 1 hour before 20 questions, but I don't have 1 hour, so let's deal with what we have. So they are saying to math also there's an on-screen calculator. That's the only calculator you're going to get. You cannot send that to your EFS or EMS or whatever calculator. So they just give an on-screen calculator that can just do plus, minus, division, multiplication, or maybe square root. So we see that from here. So continue. So they are giving us this prompt. So like I said, we have quantitative comparison. You are comparing 2 things. So they're giving you this and you are solving for the circumference of the circle as quantity A. Then you are comparing it to quantity B, which is 12. So after solving for this, I think we are going to get 4 pi as our answer. And pi is 22/7 or 3.142. So 4 times 3.142 give us, I think, 3.568. So let's just say 22/7. 22 divided by 7 gives us 3.14285. So this times 4 would give us 12.571429. So if this is quantity A answer comparing to 12, which one is greater? Of course, we are saying quantity A is greater. So you choose that. So if maybe after doing it, we got 11 here, then it means quantity B is greater. Then we select that one as quantity B is greater. So that's how the answers are. So let's move on. Next. Then this question 2, after solving the amount of then so after solving that one with 2 cups. So let's say after getting that we got 1.5. If it's 1.5 comparing it to 2 cups, 2 cups is so quantity B is greater. So this is quantitative comparison. We compare 2 things. Then we go to next. Then with this, after solving, I think we get 24 for all. So 24 for all, the quantities are equal. So the 24, they are saying that the area of a rectangular region, ABCD, area of a rectangle times Brent, 3 times 8, 24. So that is 24. Then here, the area of a trapezoidal region. Maybe we don't know the formula for area of a trapezoid. So what you can do is divide it into the 2 shapes that you can see. You can see a rectangle and a triangle. So you divide it into a rectangle and a triangle. Rectangle length times breadth, triangle half base times height. Then you add the 2. But nevertheless, the area of a trapezoid is half times the sum of the power sides times the height. So half 1/2, sum of the power sides 5 plus 7 giving us 12. Half of 12 is giving us 6. 6 times the height 4 giving us 24. So the 2 quantities are equal. So we can choose the 2 quantities are equal as an answer. Then we move on. It is the relation cannot be determined. Though the length PS and SR are equal, but we don't know, because it's not done to scale, we don't know the magnitude of this line, the magnitude of that line. So the X and the Y can change. So in one situation, the angle x can be greater than angle y. In another situation, angle y can be greater than angle x. So for that, because one situation this is x is greater than y, another situation y is greater than x. Because that is happening, you choose the relationship cannot be determined from the information given. Then you move on to next. This will make us see clearly. So for this, let me work for us to see. So you are seeing that x value is between this range 6 and 7. Then y is always 8. Quantity A is x over y. Quantity B is 0.85. So x can be, let's say, 6.1 to 6.9. So let's check for the two extremes and compare it to this. So 6.1 divided by 8 is giving us 0.7625. Comparing these two, quantity B is greater, but that is just for one value of x. Let's check for the other values of x, the two extremes. So 6.9 divided by 8. In this situation, we are getting 8.625. In this situation, quantity A is greater than quantity B. So one case, quantity B was greater than A. In another situation, quantity A is greater than B. So if this happens, that's when this relationship cannot be determined answer comes in. I hope you are getting this one. Then we move on to next. Then this one, because you have seen how all the answers are. Quantitative comparison. You compare, solve one answer, choose an answer as such. These two as such, you choose answers as such. So this one, after solving, you are going to add the x and y. They are saying that x and y are the tens and unit digits. So after solving, let me give you just this one there. It is 12. I think one will be 8, one will be 4. So adding them, we get 12. Next. Then this one, the equation of the line to maybe there's the answer. So there's multiple choice, one answer. Multiple choice, one answer. Then this one is numeric entry, like I mentioned. So after solving, you think the answer is 10. You type your answer in the box. This one to numeric multiple choice, one answer. Multiple choice, one answer. Numeric entry 1. So I think it's 1 over 3. Next. Here to multiple choice, one answer. Here to multiple choice, one answer. Here to multiple choice, one answer. Numeric entry. I think your answer is 33. So if that is your answer, you choose that, you go to next. The next is multiple choice, multiple answers. Indicate all such gross income. So if it is all, you choose all. If this, so here too, you can use the mark option. I've not been using the mark option. Review is up here, so you can start with review, but wait till you finish maybe. Then next comes to this, so the last question, multiple choice, one answer, maybe 50%. You go to next. So this is warning you like the verbal reasoning. So this interface is warning you like the verbal reasoning interface. So return or send is the last question. Review, let you know what you have done. Then continue is you think you are done, so you are moving on. So review, I just realized to mark just one. So that was question 19. So maybe you go back. We've seen how to use the review panel, so that's, we will not do much here. So this, go to question. Coming here, you think that 51,996 is not part. You choose that on mark. Go back to the review screen. You see this. So you can go to question 20 and move to go to question. So go to question, send you to the last question next. Then you can move to continue, meaning that you are done with this section. So you can see from here that the section 3 out of 5. So there are 2 more sections to do. I'm going to do another verbal and another quantitative. But because it's a review, it's the same thing that you're going to do. So I'm not going to go through those ones. So you think that we are done. So that's the same thing that you're going to do. You're going to do that for verbal, going to do that for quantitative reasoning. But you have gone through all the interface from here. So this is what you are going to do. So like I was advising, if you have ambitions to write the GRE, the link to this software is in the description. And the link to the first video is also in the description. Click on the link, download it, and make sure you go through. It will take about 4 hours, but just gather momentum and sit down for 4 hours and go through. Then later, what we'll be doing, I'll be taking you through all the aspects, maybe how to tackle verbal reasoning, tackle quantitative, tackle issue essay, tackle argument essay. So when you are going through that, then you use the new approach that you'll be getting from the lessons to do this. So make sure you subscribe to the page, make sure you like, make sure you hit on the notification bell, so that when new video comes up, you can be able to watch them, so that it will help you in perfecting yourself for the GRE. And as such, I think that would excel in a GRE. So this is the end of today's lesson also. May God be with us or help us to achieve that aim and that ambition to excel in a GRE and to enter into graduate school. Shalom.